Mix 94.7 KMCH at 8:10. Our guest of the day today is Dr. Kristen Rickey, West Delaware School Superintendent. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you having a great summer?
We are having a great summer. We're starting, of course, to get ready for students already to come back in the fall, but we're still enjoying a little bit more of summer.
And that's kind of a all summer long thing, right?
Absolutely. It definitely is.
All right. So, well, let's talk about your meeting last night. One of the things I'm sure people are really wondering about is your 2021-22 Return to Learn plan.
Yeah, so we're working on that plan, much like we did last summer, but so much has changed since last summer, of course. And so we've learned so much more about the virus and about the spread and how to be safe. So we're working on that plan. One thing I want people to know is we're going to post that plan on our website. It's tentative right now. The board discussed it last night. We'll post it on our website probably sometime today, and we'll have a place for public comment. We really would like public input so we can consider people's thoughts and ideas, how they're reacting to the plan. And then at the August school board meeting, we'll approve that plan from the board and make it final. Every 6 months, we're required to review that plan. So we'll periodically be reviewing it and, of course, updating it as new information becomes available. But that'll be on the website for people to comment on, hopefully this afternoon, and we'd really like those comments. I can talk about some of the details of that if you'd like.
That'd be great.
So what we're trying to do is take what we've learned about the virus since we started this entire adventure a year and a half ago, and really try to open up school as much as we can and get back to normal as much as we can. But remember that the virus isn't gone, and so we need to still be practicing safety protocols. So we're slowly opening up more and just, again, adapting as we learn more about the virus. So as people know, we really were opened up quite a bit last year. We had school almost every day, although we did have a hybrid period of time for the high school. But otherwise, we were in session every day. We had students learning and participating as they typically would, but there were some changes. So students were sitting further apart. We had what's called cohorting all the way through 8th grade, where the same group of students stay together all day long. Of course, people know we were doing contact tracing, quarantining, no volunteers, no field trips. This year, we're going to open that up a little bit. We're only doing cohorting for Lambert, which is very typical for Lambert anyway, where each core classroom stays together during the day. But middle school will be intermixing students again, which is really important for those middle school ages and above. And high school will continue mixing students. We'll still watch for distancing and try to get students apart as much as we can. The 6 feet is what we're aiming for, but it's not as critical as we first thought when the pandemic started. So we may be less than 6 feet in some cases, but we're still going to be cognizant of that and try to keep students apart to some extent within the classrooms. We will welcome back volunteers, but probably on a limited basis, but we will have many more volunteers in the buildings than we have had. We'll open up some of the field trips, again, in a slow, sort of soft open, but we'll start doing some of those things that we typically did. Remembering, of course, that the virus isn't gone, so we will still be doing sanitizing, we'll still be fogging the classrooms, hand washing, all those sorts of things that we had done in the past.
All right, very good. So masks?
Yeah, that is a big question. So we will not have masks during the school day. People probably remember that last May, a decision was made by the legislature in Iowa that we will not be allowed to require masks of staff or students. They're still voluntary if they would like, and some people choose to do that, and that's just fine, but they will not be required. The big question is masks on school buses, and we're trying to get a legal answer on that because there's a state law that we can't require masks in school settings, and buses are an extension of school. But there is a federal law that in public transportation, you must require masks. So we just need a legal interpretation of which law we're supposed to follow. So that is really up in the air right now, but it really isn't one of our choices that we get to make. We just need to know which law we're expected to follow. But masks will not be required in school. But certainly if people are more comfortable wearing masks, they're welcome to do so.
Okay, very good. Talk about a couple of other things that went on at your meeting. Facilities planning? How's that going?
Yeah, that's going really well. It's coming along. We are still on track with our original timing plan, which is hoping that all the plans will be done and we'll go to bid in November or December. So we're done with the big design phases, and now we're getting down to what finishes and colors and those sorts of things. So that's fun. It's important to remind people that there are really two components of the project. The bond referendum is what our community voted for, and that, of course, is sort of a promise between the community and the school district of the things that absolutely must be done. So those are things like updated boiler systems at Lamberton Middle School. We're really excited about that because we're finding there are many ways to be much more efficient. The boilers are going to cost less than anticipated, and we'll save money because of the energy efficiency. So we're really finding some great positives to that. Some other things, secure entrances at Lamberton Middle School. We already have secure entrances at all 3 buildings, but we're going to make sure that we have an enhanced system, sort of a double entry, and they already have that at the high school. Those are things that absolutely will be done. There are other projects that we'd like to do at the same time. It makes sense to do them all together, but those are still up to school board discretion.
All right, cool. Legislature. Let's talk a little bit about what the you guys talk with the Iowa School Board, and then we'll talk about the legislative priorities and how that all works.
Sure. So our district is a part of the Iowa Association of School Boards. And of course, they advocate at the legislature for things that are of importance to schools. So every year, we call it IASB, the School Board Association, asks for districts across the state to tell them what are their highest priorities so they know what is the most important for school districts, so they can advocate for that at the legislature. So our board had a discussion last night about those things from a list that they provided to us. And the things that our board decided were the most important to advocate with at the legislature are things like mental health and how to support the mental health of our students and our staff. Supplemental state aid, so that's funding for schools. Preschool, making sure that we maintain availability of preschool for all of our families. Unfunded mandates is always a concern, which means we're told to do something but not giving any funding to do it. So that means we have to lose funding from another area to accomplish that. So trying to push back against unfunded mandates. And finally, teacher recruitment, as we are starting to see a significant teacher shortage across the state. So those are the things that we really want our school board association to advocate for.
All right. And the girls cross country team going to be taking a little trip.
That is very exciting. So that was an idea of our cross country coaches, Ben Mosier, Jason Geyer, and they also have a volunteer coach working closely with them. And they thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for our girls cross country next summer, not this summer, next summer, to travel to Colorado so they could do some altitude training. So very exciting things they have planned. They're going to do a 1 mile, pretty much vertical run up one of the 14ers, as they call them in Colorado, visit the Olympic Training Center, and hopefully meet with a coach from the Olympic Training Center. So really phenomenal opportunity for our students and our athletes, and they're going to start some fundraising to help pay for that trip.
All right. That does sound like a really great way. Yeah. And what's funny is the second time I've heard 14ers in the last 2 days, and I've never heard it before yesterday, and that's one of the 14,000 feet climbs, right? Yes,
absolutely. Perhaps you could go with the cross-country team as volunteer, Mike, and you could try it.
Oh, boy, I don't know. We'll just walk on these flat surfaces here in Manchester for now. Anyway, but is there anything else you'd like to tell us about?
No, I just want to remind people that our school board meetings are open again. We had them closed for visitors for a while. We're continuing to post them on Facebook Live so people can watch if they're not able to come. But if they'd like to make a comment, they need to come in person now.
All right. Very good. Dr. Kristen Rickey with us, West Delaware School Board Recap. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Thank you.
It's a summer party at the 68th Annual Dubuque County Fair, July 27th through